Be me, 24-year-old kissless virgin who spends too much time on Reddit and not enough time touching grass. Have massive crush on coworker named Jessica for like 2 years now. She's cute, likes anime, always wearing band shirts from bands I pretend to know. We talk about Cowboy Bebop and she mentioned she's rewatching it for the 3rd time. I nod like I've seen it more than once when I've only seen the first 3 episodes. Decide I need to make a move before some Chad swoops in, and I regret it forever, like that time I didn't buy Bitcoin in 2013. Problem is I have 0 game and the social skills of a wet paper bag. Every time I try to flirt, I sound like I'm doing a customer service script. My brain comes up with genius idea after browsing too much relationship advice subreddit at 3 a.m. If she sees other girls interested in me, she'll realize what she's missing. Yes, this is the dumbest plan ever conceived, but my 2 brain cells thought it was brilliant at the time. Probably should have consulted the 3rd one, but he was busy. Decide to post on social media about going on dates, even though I haven't been on a date since junior prom when I took my cousin because nobody else would go with me. Create elaborate fake scenario about meeting someone at a coffee shop, getting her number, planning to take her to that new Italian place downtown that I read about on Yelp. Spend 2 hours crafting the perfect casual humble brag post that doesn't seem try hard but also clearly communicates I'm desirable and definitely not desperate. Post it on Instagram with some vague caption like, "Sometimes the best things happen when you least expect them," with a coffee cup emoji and a heart emoji. Immediately start sweating because what if people ask questions? What if they want photos? What if Jessica actually wants to meet this imaginary girl? My Reddit brain assured me this would work because I read 3 success stories about it on some pickup artist subreddit that's probably run by guys who also haven't touched grass. Next day at work, I'm anxiously waiting to see if Jessica noticed my post, checking my phone every 5 minutes like I'm expecting a message from the president. She walks by my desk and doesn't say anything. Just normal good morning. Asks if I finished the quarterly report like she does every Tuesday. I'm dying inside, but play it cool. Mention something about being busy this weekend with plans, hoping she'll ask what plans. She just says, "Oh, cool," and walks away to get coffee from the break room that has the coffee machine that's been broken for 3 months but nobody's fixed it yet. Panic mode activated. Clearly the post wasn't enough. I need to escalate this brilliant plan that's definitely not going to backfire in spectacular fashion. Decide to post more content about this fake relationship. Start sharing song lyrics about being in love and posting aesthetic couple photos I find on Pinterest. My buddy Mike, who's literally the only person who messages me, regularly sees my posts and texts asking, "Bro, when did you get a girlfriend and why didn't you tell me?" I tell him it's complicated and I'll explain later, which is code for I've dug myself into a hole and I'm still digging because stopping would require admitting I'm an idiot. Weekend comes and I'm at home in my room that still has posters from high school. My dad is outside mowing the lawn for the 3rd time this week, even though it doesn't need it. Dad's a boomer who solved all his problems by working hard and keeping his head down. Doesn't understand modern dating or social media. Still thinks you meet girls at church socials. He comes inside and cracks open a beer at 10 a.m. because it's Saturday, and that's apparently legal. When you're over 50, sits down to play Diablo 1 on his old PC that sounds like a jet engine. I can hear him clicking through the catacombs while sipping his beer, occasionally yelling at the screen when a monster ambushes him, living his best life while I'm having an existential crisis. He yells from his man cave asking if I want to go to Home Depot with him later. I yell back that I'm busy, which is a lie because I'm just scrolling through Jessica's Instagram. Dad mumbles something about kids these days, always on their phones, continues his Diablo session, while I continue my descent into madness with my fake relationship posts. Decide to take it to the next level because I'm apparently committed to this bit like a method actor preparing for a role nobody asked him to play. Create a fake girlfriend, Instagram account using stock photos of some girl I found online. Give her a basic name like Ashley with some random last name that sounds real. Spend 3 hours building a believable profile with posts dating back months. Photos of coffee, sunsets, books, the whole aesthetic girl starter pack from 2019. Have fake Ashley follow me and like some of my posts, even leave a comment with a heart emoji on my coffee shop post. I'm in too deep now, this is like that movie Inception. But instead of dreams, it's just lies stacked on lies, and I'm Leonardo DiCaprio. But without the talent or good looks. My hands are literally shaking as I navigate this web of deception that would make Gossip Girl look like Amateur Hour. What have I become? Monday rolls around and I show up to work feeling like I'm about to present at the UN, except everyone's going to find out I'm a fraud. Jessica walks in, and she's talking to Sarah from accounting. They're both looking at their phones and laughing about something. My anxiety spikes to levels previously unknown to medical science. Did they find out? Is this the end? Should I just quit and move to Alaska? Jessica sees me and actually walks over to my desk, which never happens unless she needs me to fix her computer because she clicked on another phishing email. She says, "Hey, so I saw your posts. You're seeing someone?" And she's smiling, but I can't tell if it's genuine or if she's about to destroy me. I stammer out a yes while my brain is screaming, "Abort mission, abort mission." She asks what she's like, and I describe fake Ashley using the bio I wrote at 2 a.m. Jessica seems happy for me and says that's great, and she hopes it works out. Mentions she's also been seeing someone for a few weeks now. Record scratch, freeze frame. You're probably wondering how I got here. Yep, that's me. The idiot who played himself harder than anyone's ever been played in human history. Spend the rest of the day in a daze like I just got hit by a truck driven by Karma herself. Jessica is dating someone, and I accelerated it by making her think I was unavailable. My brilliant Reddit-inspired plan has backfired so catastrophically that I should probably write a case study about it for future generations to learn from my mistakes. Mike texts me during lunch, asking how the girlfriend is. I tell him great, even though I'm dying inside and seriously considering faking my own death. He says we should do a double date sometime with him and his girlfriend. I nearly choke on my sandwich that I bought from the vending machine because I forgot to pack lunch. Now I need to either admit the truth and look like a psychopath, or continue this charade and somehow produce a physical human woman for a double date. Checked Reddit for advice and found a thread about a guy in similar situation. Top comment said, "You're cooked, bro," with 5,000 upvotes. Very helpful, Reddit. Thanks. Evening comes and I'm lying in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering where my life went wrong. Probably around the time I thought social media manipulation was a good dating strategy. My dad knocks on my door and asks if I want to play Diablo with him. He just started a new character and wants to show me his gear setup. I decline because I'm too busy wallowing in self-pity. He says, "Suit yourself," and I hear him walk back to his cave muttering about young people being too serious. The sound of his lawnmower starts up again, even though it's 8 p.m. and getting dark. Man just loves mowing. It's his therapy, and honestly, I respect it. Wish I could solve my problems by mowing them down, but unfortunately, complex social situations require more than a John Deere and a can-do attitude. I decide to scroll through fake Ashley's profile to see if anyone's noticed anything weird. Thankfully, nobody has because everyone's too busy living their actual lives. Next few days are torture watching Jessica talk about her new boyfriend. Apparently, he's into rock climbing and has a motorcycle and probably doesn't have anime body pillows. She shows me a photo and the guy looks like he stepped out of an Abercrombie catalog mixed with the human Ken doll, "I Wanna Die." Meanwhile, I have to keep up the fake relationship posts because backing out now would raise questions I'm not prepared to answer with anything resembling honesty. Post a photo of 2 coffee cups pretending it's me and Ashley on a date. Caption it, "Best way to spend a Sunday morning," with prayer. Hands emoji. My aunt comments asking when she gets to meet this girl. My mom likes the post and leaves 3 heart emojis. I'm in my own personal hell of my own creation. Coworker named Brad, who's basically a walking Reddit stereotype with his Marvel Funko Pops and actually energy, asked me about my girlfriend at lunch. Brad's the kind of guy who says "milady" unironically and has strong opinions about Star Wars that nobody asked for. He's giving me soy face energy as he asks. Brad wants to know all the details like where we met, what she does, if she likes any of his favorite anime that he's definitely going to recommend without reading the room. I make up elaborate stories on the spot, pulling from every romantic comedy I've ever seen. We met at a bookstore reaching for the same book. Very Hallmark movie shit. He nods enthusiastically and says, "That's so epic, bro," which makes me want to crawl into the nearest trash can and live there permanently. Brad starts giving me relationship advice, even though I know for a fact he's never had a girlfriend. He's quoting Andrew Tate and some podcast bros I've never heard of. I politely nod while internally screaming. He tells me to maintain frame and always be the alpha, and I'm wondering if this is real life or an elaborate simulation. He ends his TED Talk by saying I should bring her to the office sometime so everyone can meet her. My blood pressure hits numbers that would concern actual medical professionals. Get home and Dad's on the couch watching Pawn Stars and drinking his evening beer. Same routine every night for the last 20 years. Man's a creature of habit. He asks how work was, and I say fine, because explaining that I've created an elaborate catfish scheme to make my coworker jealous would require conversations we're not ready for. He tells me he got to level 25 in Diablo today and found a unique sword. He's more excited about that than anything I've accomplished in years. Fair enough, honestly. Mentions that the lawn is looking great and he's thinking about reseeding the back section. I nod and pretend to care about lawn maintenance. Dad asks if I'm doing okay because I seem stressed. I tell him work stuff, which is partially true if you count manufacturing fake relationships as work. He gives me the classic dad advice about how, when he was my age, he just focused on working hard and everything else fell into place. Different times, old man. Different times. Another week passes and the fake relationship is getting exhausting to maintain. I'm running out of stock photos and captions that don't sound completely insane. Posted a picture of a sunset with caption, "She makes every moment brighter," and 3 people commented telling me I'm cute. They don't know I'm a fraud and charlatan. Jessica has completely moved on and talks about her boyfriend constantly. They went hiking last weekend. They're planning a trip to Colorado. They adopted a dog together, metaphorically, I think. I'm sitting here maintaining a fictional relationship while she's living her best life with motorcycle Chad, who probably doesn't even know what Reddit is. Probably for the best. Mike texts asking about that double date again, and I panic. Tell him Ashley's really busy with work. He asks what she does, and I say marketing, because that's vague enough. He seems satisfied with that answer and says maybe next month. I have 1 month to either produce a human woman or come clean about my deceptions. Both options sound terrible. Weekend comes and I'm having an actual crisis about this whole situation. Can't sleep, can't eat, just constantly checking social media like it's my job. Dad's outside mowing again, and it's barely been 4 days since the last mow. At this point, he's just mowing dirt. Grass doesn't grow that fast. I go outside to get some air, and he stops the mower, wipes his forehead, and asks if I want a beer. Even though it's 11 a.m., sure, why not? Life's a mess anyway. We sit on the porch, and he's telling me about his Diablo character's build and how he's trying to find this specific ring that increases his attack speed. I'm half listening while spiraling about my fake girlfriend situation. He notices I'm distracted and asks what's really going on. I break down and tell him everything. The crush on Jessica, the fake posts, the fake girlfriend account, the impending double date doom, all of it. He takes a long sip of his beer and just stares at me for what feels like an eternity before saying, "Son, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." I know, Dad, I know it's dumb, but here we are. I created this mess and now I'm living in it like a raccoon in a dumpster. It's my home now. Dad shakes his head and tells me that back in his day, if you liked a girl, you just asked her out. If she said no, you moved on. None of this social media psychological warfare. He says I need to come clean, delete the fake account, apologize to anyone I've misled, and learn from this like a man instead of digging deeper into the lie. I ask what if everyone thinks I'm insane. He says they probably already do based on what I've told him, but at least I'll be honestly insane instead of dishonestly insane. Dad finishes his beer, gets up and says he's going back to mowing even though there's nothing left to mow. It's his meditation and I need to find mine that doesn't involve catfishing. He fires up the mower and I sit there contemplating my entire existence while he does his 5th lap around the yard. The man's a simple genius and I'm a complicated idiot. Spend the next few hours psyching myself up to delete everything and come clean. I'm literally sweating more than when I ran that mile in high school gym class I pretended to have asthma for. Open Instagram and look at fake Ashley's profile one last time. She had 87 followers that I gained through follow schemes. She lived a fake life for my real mistakes. Delete the account and immediately feel both relief and terror like jumping out of a plane, but you're not sure if your parachute will open. Delete all my posts about the fake relationship too. Gone, erased, like Thanos snapped, but it's just my dignity disappearing into dust. My phone immediately starts buzzing with messages from people asking if I'm okay, if we broke up, what happened. I'm not ready for this interrogation. Mike calls me directly instead of texting like a psychopath who doesn't understand modern communication. I consider not answering, but that would just delay the inevitable. Answer, and he immediately asks what happened with Ashley. I take a deep breath and just tell him the truth. There was no Ashley. I made her up. There's silence on the other end, and I think he hung up. But then he just says, "Bro, what the fuck? which is the most appropriate response anyone could have. I explain the whole thing about trying to make Jessica jealous, and he listens without interrupting, which is surprising because Mike usually interrupts everyone. When I finish, he says, "That's the most 4chan thing you've ever done, and you don't even use 4chan. Fair assessment, honestly. Can't even argue with that. He tells me I'm an idiot, but he's still my friend, and we're still hanging out next weekend. Also, says I need therapy, which again, fair point. Probably should look into that. Brad messages me on Slack asking about the deleted posts. I tell him we broke up and I don't want to talk about it. He sends me a "That's Rough Buddy" gif from Avatar, which somehow makes it worse. Brad then sends me a long message about how there's plenty of fish in the sea and how he's read this great book about maintaining abundance mentality. Please, Brad, read the room. I thank him for the support and mute our conversation because I cannot handle Reddit bro advice right now, or possibly ever again for the rest of my natural life. Jessica hasn't said anything, which means she either hasn't noticed or doesn't care. Both options sting, but the second one stings more like pouring salt in a wound that you gave yourself. Next day at work, I'm dreading seeing everyone, but I show up because calling in sick would just make things weirder, and I can't afford to use my PTO on emotional damage. Jessica walks by and doesn't say anything different than usual, asks about the quarterly report like always. No mention of my deleted relationship posts. I realize that I built this entire thing up in my head, and most people probably didn't even notice or care. Main character syndrome is real, and I had it bad. Brad corners me in the break room and wants to give me a pep talk about getting back out there. He's eating his lunch that's just chicken and rice because he's on some podcast diet. Tells me about this subreddit where guys share field reports about talking to women, and I should check it out. I politely decline and say I'm taking a break from dating. Brad nods knowingly and says, "Sometimes you gotta work on yourself, King," while giving me the soy face point that people do in photos. I want to evaporate into mist. Weeks go by and life slowly returns to normal. I deleted all my social media apps except YouTube because I need to watch video essays about movies I'll never watch. Jessica and motorcycle chat are still going strong. I heard through office gossip they're moving in together. I'm happy for her genuinely, even though it hurts like stepping on Legos. I've accepted that sometimes you miss your shot and you can't manipulate your way into someone's heart with fake social media posts. Groundbreaking revelation, I know. Mike and I hung out and played video games like old times. He made fun of me for the Ashley situation approximately 47 times, but that's what friends do. My dad's still mowing the lawn religiously and playing Diablo. He beat the game and started a new character. Man's living his best life without the complications of modern romance. I asked him how he met Mom, and he said he just asked her out at church, and she said yes. No games, no schemes, just straightforward honesty. Revolutionary concept. Been working on myself like Brad suggested, but not in the Reddit cringe way. Actually going to therapy and talking about why I thought manipulation was better than honesty. Therapist asked me why I didn't just tell Jessica I liked her, and I genuinely didn't have a good answer beyond fear of rejection, which apparently is common. Who knew? She suggested that next time I like someone, I should just be direct and honest, because most people appreciate that more than elaborate schemes, wisdom I paid $150 a session for. I'm taking a break from dating and focusing on hobbies that don't involve destroying my own life. Picked up guitar, and I'm terrible at it, but at least it's honest terrible. Dad's been teaching me to play Diablo, and honestly, it's pretty fun. We do co-op runs on weekends, and he's weirdly good at it for a guy who thinks Facebook is cutting-edge technology. One Saturday we're playing, and he asks if I learned my lesson about the whole fake girlfriend thing. I tell him I did, and he just nods and continues clicking through dungeons. He says, "Good, because your mother would kill me if she knew I didn't give you proper advice." Turns out he told Mom everything, and she thinks it's hilarious. Mom apparently said it reminds her of when Dad tried to make her jealous in high school by talking to other girls, and it backfired because she just dated his best friend. I ask what happened, and he says they eventually figured it out, but he wasted 6 months being an idiot when he could have just asked her to prom directly. He takes a sip of his beer and says, "The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, son. We're all idiots in love. Just try to be less of an idiot next time." We continue playing, and he's telling me about the meta builds for different character classes while I'm realizing that maybe I'm not uniquely stupid, maybe this is just being human. Present day, I'm doing okay. Still work with Jessica, and we're still friendly. She invited me to her housewarming party with Chad, and I might actually go. No more fake girlfriends, no more elaborate schemes. If I like someone, I'll just tell them like a functional adult human being with working brain cells. Brad's still Brad and still trying to give me advice from whatever podcast he listened to that week. I've learned to just smile and nod and change the subject. Mike made me promise to never catfish again, and I agreed. He also made me promise to tell him if I have any more stupid ideas so he can talk me out of them. My dad's lawn has never looked better, and he's on his third playthrough of Diablo. Man found his peace in lawn maintenance and demon slaying. Respect. Looking back, the whole thing was embarrassing, but also kind of funny in that way that terrible mistakes become funny after enough time passes and therapy sessions. I tried to make Jessica jealous and ended up alone with my own fake posts that I had to delete in shame. Got exactly what I deserved for playing stupid games. Learned that Reddit relationship advice is written by people who also don't know what they're doing, and we're all just pretending we have it figured out. Learned that my boomer dad, who mows lawns and plays 20-year-old video games, somehow has more wisdom than the entire internet combined. Wild. Learned that the best way to tell someone you like them is to just say it, instead of creating an elaborate catfish scheme that would make MTV producers proud. If I could go back and change anything, I would have just asked Jessica out when I first liked her. Worst case, she says no, and I move on like an adult. But then I wouldn't have this ridiculous story about the time I created a fake girlfriend to make my crush jealous, and it backfired spectacularly. My therapist says I'm using humor to deflect from the real pain, but honestly, I think some things are just funny and also painful. They can be both. Brad asked me recently if I'm ready to get back out there, and I told him maybe. He immediately tried to send me links to dating strategy forums. I declined and said I'm going to try doing things the old-fashioned way, talking to people in real life without a carefully constructed social media narrative. Dad and I were playing Diablo last weekend, and he said he's proud of me for handling the situation with maturity eventually, even if I created it with stupidity initially. I asked him if he ever did anything else dumb when he was young, and he just laughed and took a long sip of beer, which I'm taking as a yes. He told me that everyone does dumb things when they're young and scared. The important part is learning from it and not doing the same dumb thing twice. I asked, what if I do a different dumb thing? And he said that's called living. Just try to make them smaller dumb things next time, not catastrophic, fake, girlfriend-level dumb things. We beat Diablo that night, and he celebrated by cracking another beer and going outside to inspect the lawn, even though it was 10 p.m. and pitch black outside. So here I am, 24 years old, single, no fake girlfriends, just me and my mistakes and the lessons I learned from creating a social media disaster of my own making. Jessica's happy, I'm working on being happy. Brad's still posting cringe, but he means well. Mike's a real one. And Dad's still mowing his way to enlightenment. Sometimes the best relationships are the fake ones you delete, and the real friendships that survive your stupidity, or something deep like that. My face when I realize that trying to make someone jealous just makes you alone with your own lies and poor decisions. That feel when you learn that honesty is actually the best policy, and Reddit advice is usually written by people who are even more clueless than you are.